Most Singaporeans have no idea how much they actually need to retire. They guess. They throw out a number like $1 million because it sounds about right, and then they spend the next 30 years quietly anxious about whether they will make it. The ones who actually get there are not the ones who earn the most. They are the ones who figured out their real number early enough to do something about it. Here is the truth. The number you need depends almost entirely on one thing. Not your salary, not your job title, not even how much you have saved so far. It depends on when you want to stop working. Because retiring at 65 in Singapore is a completely different financial game from retiring at 55. And retiring at 45 is a different plan altogether. Today, I am going to walk you through exactly how much you need to retire at every age in Singapore in 2026, using real official numbers from CPF Board, the Kuan School of Public Policy, and the Singapore Department of Statistics. By the end of this, you will know your real target. Whether you are 25 and just getting started, or 50 and wondering if it is too late, you will know where you stand and what to do next. Before we get into the numbers, let me explain something that most people get completely wrong about Singapore retirement. Singapore has no automatic state pension like many other countries. There is no government payment that shows up in your bank account every month just because you turn 65. The Silver Support Scheme exists, but it pays a maximum of 360 Singapore dollars a month, and that is only for the most financially vulnerable seniors in one-room or two-room HDB flats. It is a safety net for the very bottom, not a retirement plan. Your CPF life payout is the closest thing Singapore has to a national pension, and the size of that monthly payment for the rest of your life depends entirely on how much you have built inside your retirement account by the time you turn 55. This is the foundation of every retirement scenario I am about to walk you through. How much you build in that account and how early you build it changes everything. Now, how much do you actually need to spend in retirement in Singapore? The Kuan School of Public Policy Minimum Income Standard Study gives us the most credible anchor. A single elderly person living alone needs at least $1,492 every single month just to meet basic needs and participate in society in 2026. A couple needs around $2,351 together. That is the floor. That is the number below which retirement stops being retirement and starts being survival. For a genuinely comfortable retirement, paid off HDB flat, meals out occasionally, one trip a year, reliable healthcare, most Singaporeans realistically need between $2,700 and $3,500 a month as a single person. If you want a zajitijni lifestyle with a private condominium, private healthcare, and regular overseas travel, that number climbs to $5,000 to $7,000 and above. Life expectancy in Singapore is now 83.9 years, according to the Singapore Department of Statistics, with the most probable age of death sitting at 87 for men and 91 for women. Which means if you retire at 65, you are planning for a retirement that lasts 20 to 25 years minimum. If you retire at 55, you are planning for 30 years. If you retire at 40, you might be funding 50 years of living expenses. And every year you add to that horizon, the number you need to have invested grows significantly. Let us go through each retirement age now, from the most achievable to the most ambitious. Retiring at 65 is the scenario that CPF was literally designed for. Your CPF life payouts begin automatically at this age. If you have set aside the full retirement sum of $220,400 in your retirement account by age 55, that sum will compound at 4% annually and grow to approximately $325,000 to $330,000 by 65. CPF Life then converts that into a guaranteed monthly payout of $1,780 for the rest of your life. That already covers the basic MIS standard with room to spare. But here is the upgrade path. If you push all the way to the enhanced retirement sum of $440,800, your guaranteed monthly payout rises to over $3,400 a month. For most Singaporeans with a paid-off HDB flat and no debt, $3,400 a month at 65 is a genuinely comfortable retirement. You are not rich, but you are free. And then there is the deferral strategy that more than 1 in 2 eligible Singaporeans are already using. You do not have to start CPF life at 65. You can defer it by up to 5 years until age 70. For every year you wait, your monthly payout increases by up to 7%. Defer the full 5 years, and that payout goes up by up to 35% for the rest of your life. A full retirement sum payout of $1,780 at 65 becomes approximately $2,430 at 70. That is an extra $7,800 per year, paid monthly, guaranteed for however long you live. You just need a private bridge, savings, S-rate dividends, or SRS withdrawals to cover the 65 to 70 gap. So for retiring at 65 in Singapore, if you are targeting a comfortable lifestyle with CPF Life as your main income and a paid-off home, the realistic number you need across CPF and private savings is between $600,000 and $800,000 total. If you want genuine flexibility and a lifestyle above the HDB comfort level, aim for 1 million to 1.2 million combined. These are achievable numbers for most disciplined Singaporean professionals. And critically, part of that total is already being built for you automatically every month inside CPF, whether you think about it or not. Now let us look at retiring at 55. This is where it starts to get serious. At 55, the CPF landscape shifts significantly. Your special account closes and your savings are transferred into your retirement account up to the full retirement sum. Any balance above that moves to your ordinary account and becomes withdrawable in cash. So the first question at 55 is not just how much you have, it is how that money is structured. But here is the problem most people do not see coming. CPF Life only starts at 65. If you retire at 55, you are facing 10 full years, 10 years, where you need your private savings to cover every single dollar of your living expenses, not CPF contributions, not CPF interest, cash, from your own portfolio. For a comfortable lifestyle of $3,000 a month, that is $36,000 a year across 10 years. That is $360,000 in private, liquid, accessible savings just to bridge the gap before CPF Life kicks in. And that bridge money needs to sit somewhere earning a return. S-REITs, Singapore savings bonds, T-bills, dividend ETFs, because parking it in a savings account at 0.05% while inflation erodes it at 2 to 3% annually is a quiet financial disaster. The realistic total number for retiring at 55 at a comfortable level, you need between $800,000 and $1.2 million across your private portfolio and CPF combined. For a zajitachni lifestyle with private healthcare and regular travel, that number is 1.5 million to 2.5 million. Own your home outright before you retire at 55. The LKY SPP numbers assume paid-off housing. If you are still servicing a mortgage in retirement, every number in this video needs to be larger. Retiring at 50 requires something the system was not designed to support. You are now facing 15 years before you can access your CPF at 55 and 25 years before CPF Life begins. Your entire bridge period has to come from money you can actually access: a private investment portfolio, dividend income, SRS withdrawals after 63, or part-time income. For a comfortable $3,000 monthly lifestyle, You need a private portfolio of approximately $900,000 to $1 million, generating enough passive income to cover expenses for 25 years before CPF Life supplements it. The math works if you start young, save aggressively, and invest consistently. It does not work if you start thinking about it at 45. The people who retire at 50 in Singapore are using what the FIRE community calls a bridge bucket strategy. They hold 2 to 3 years of living expenses in cash or short-duration Singapore savings bonds for stability. The bulk of their portfolio is in income-generating assets, DBS, OCBC, UOB, Capitaland Ascendas REIT, Mapletree Industrial Trust, generating 5 to 6% dividend yields that hit their account tax-free every quarter. And they treat CPF as a bonus that arrives at 65 and 65 only, not as something they are counting on to fund their 50s. Total realistic number for retiring at 50 at a comfortable level, 1 million to 1.4 million in private investable assets, with CPF secured at the full retirement sum as a long-term backstop. Now, retiring at 45. The mass is demanding but achievable for a specific profile of person. At 45, you are facing 20 years before CPF unlocks at 55, and 24 years of gap years on private money alone before CPF Life starts. Because of this extended horizon, you could easily be in retirement for 45 to 50 years. Most financial planners no longer recommend using the standard 4% withdrawal rate. Instead, they use 3.5% to account for the increased sequence of returns risk and longer time horizon. For a comfortable lifestyle of $3,000 a month, that is $36,000 a year, divided by 0.035, which gives you a target private portfolio of approximately $1,028,000. For a zajityczny lifestyle of $6,000 a month, that target is $2,057,000. And again, this is your private portfolio only. CPF is growing separately in the background and will arrive like a guaranteed annuity at 65, reducing the burden on your private savings significantly for the second half of retirement. Almost nobody retires at 45 on a salary alone. It requires a savings rate of 50% or more for a sustained period, disciplined early investing, and often a business, side income, or asset that scales beyond your working hours. It is an extreme goal, but it is not an impossible one, and knowing the exact number makes it something to plan toward rather than something to dream about vaguely. And then there is retiring at 40. Here the math becomes genuinely brutal, but not mythical. You are now funding a potential 50-year retirement with zero access to CPF for the first 15 years. Using a 3% withdrawal rate, a comfortable lifestyle of $3,000 a month needs a private portfolio of $1,200,000. A zajityczny lifestyle of $6,000 a month needs $2,400,000. These numbers assume your home is paid off, your healthcare is covered by an integrated shield plan, and you have no high-interest debt of any kind. The people who get here at 40 in Singapore are not the people who made the best stock picks. They are the people who kept lifestyle expenses low while income scaled, invested consistently from their mid-20s, and treated every salary increase as an investment acceleration rather than a lifestyle upgrade. Here is the thing that connects all 5 scenarios. Most Singaporeans never calculate their actual number. They hold a rough figure in their head, they feel anxious about money even when they are earning well, and they keep pushing the decision to some undefined future point when they will finally sit down and figure it out. That point never arrives because you never have perfect information. The uncertainty is always there. The only question is whether you are walking toward a specific target or just walking. Here is what the data tells us about where most Singaporeans actually stand in 2026. By 2027, approximately 8 out of 10 active CPF members turning 55 will be able to set aside at least the basic retirement sum of $110,200. That is the highest attainment rate in Singapore's history. But the basic retirement sum generates only $850 to $980 a month from CPF Life. That is below the minimum income standard of $1,492. 8 in 10 reaching the floor is progress. It is not a comfortable retirement. About 3 in 10 Singaporeans approaching retirement have not yet accumulated enough to meet even the basic retirement sum. They are not bad people, and they are not lazy. They are people who spent 3 decades treating CPF as a tax, rather than the most powerful government-backed savings system in the developed world. The good news is that the gap between where you are and where you need to be is almost always smaller than you think, once you account for what CPF is already doing quietly in the background. Every dollar sitting in your special account right now is earning 4%, tax-free, guaranteed by the Singapore government. The first $60,000 of your combined CPF balance earns a bonus 1% on top of that. After 55, your retirement account earns an additional 1% on the first 30,000, making the effective rate on those funds as high as 6% annually. 6%, risk-free, in a world where global inflation averages 2 to 3%. No retail product on earth offers that risk-adjusted return to a Singapore tax resident. So here is your exercise for tonight. Open your bank statements for the last 3 months. Add up everything you actually spent. Multiply by 4 to get your annual lifestyle cost. Then look at which retirement age in this video matches the life you want. Find the number next to that age. That gap between your current total investable assets and that number, that is your plan. Not your worry, your plan. Because the moment you have a real number, every financial decision you make in the next decade suddenly has a direction. Then open your CPF statement. Look at your ordinary account, your special account, and your MediSave balance. Multiply your special account balance by 4%. That is the passive income CPF is already generating for you this year, right now, while you sleep. The system is already working. The question is whether you are working with it. The Singaporeans who retire at the age they want are not the ones who earn the most. They are the ones who knew their number, understood their system, and started early enough to let compounding close the gap. Now you know yours. If this video gave you a clearer picture of your retirement, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who is still guessing their number. I will see you in the next one.